There is a nice statement which says, if you want to know how data really will innovate your business model, it could be actually in a single slide. And Henrik actually presented that before me. It could be this, where it could be scary a little bit. AI or robotics might take our job. A lot of people think that. Or AI or machine learning could decide if a coma patient should live or die, or could be our judge, or could be biased by hiring employees based on historical data and informations, like what happened at Amazon, and they shut it down after that. Or it could be this, which is, I know that many of you have seen it. It is the exponential curve. We as a human, we use the data or the history as a reference point because we know it and we have it. But we have to be really good in reading the early part of that curve, and which we call it weak signals. The human are a bit linear when it comes to adoption, but because of what happened in COVID and the exponential changes that we have seen, because 90% of the data has been created last 2 years, and the adoption of human changed during the COVID, and this is why we call it C19 bump. But what does this has in our digital transformations? Rob Walker, he said, and a really interesting statement. He said, really, if you want to know more about the weak signals, you need to change the way that you look at things. He said, there is no shortcut, there is no algorithm. If you all do is track what's trending, then all you will ever know is exactly what everyone else already knew. To this, you have to dig. So let's dig in and see what's the future height for us when it comes to data. A lot of us are not able even to understand this exponential curves. This is an interesting graph. It shows the solar per watts exponentially reducing, but at the same time, the global installation of the panel are really increasing. But who is not good in reading these weak signals? Is the international energy organizations or agencies. The colored one on the right side, this is what they project when it comes to solar technology adoptions. And the black one, this is the exact technology growth of solar. So they've been reliably wrong in their projection. They start correcting their courses actually last year, but this is not unique challenge for them. It's actually the challenge across all the other sectors. And again, the exponential curves. What that leads me actually, and I thought, let me go back to history and see where can I really look at this change? Is it actually new or previously? What I've noticed that we start learning this couple of years back. We knew it. We started even 1968, and this is what happened in the Olympics.
The Olympic high jump changed forever on October 20th, 1968. The location was Mexico City. What was more, until a gangly 21-year-old civil engineering student in mismatched running shoes did this. That man's name was Dick Fosbury. And although it may not seem unusual to your eyes now, in 1968 it was revolutionary.
So this could be unusual. Why? All the jump actually used to be either standing, scissors, straddle, or western. So what did really change? What he did is the great unlearning. And this is exactly what Alvin Toffler said. The illiterate of the 21st century, it's not the one who can't read and write, but actually who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And it's exactly what Fosbury did. Actually unlearned the entire historical things that happened in the jump and read the new things. And it took him actually years to get this, where this is actually becoming, till today, no one were able to break this type of techniques in jump. And it's being called Fosbury jump at the Olympics. 25 years back, we used to have all these devices in our pocket. Today, in our hand, today is in our pocket. What did it change? Why it is so important to know that? These small devices in our pocket faster than computer that send the man to the moon, and 2 million bigger memory. And who's not happy? Neil Armstrong. I'm sure if he knew about that, he wouldn't go to the moon at that time. One of my heroes, Stephen Sasson, invented the digital camera. When he went to the board, they said, this is not our business. What they thought their business is printing papers and chemical, but in reality, Their business is this. I found this actually a couple of days back. And this takes only 36 pictures. So imagine the USB that you have today is how many pictures it takes? Hundreds of thousands. I've seen now the new, more than gigabytes or in terms of size. So imagine the size of the devices. So we need to ask ourselves what business we are in really. And of course, they gave him the doctorate after a couple of years recently. And interesting things. A lot of people say iPhone was innovative, right? When they came in 2008, it cost $500. Who thought that this business is different than what they do? Steve Ballmer, the CEO of Microsoft. Listen to what he said.
Steve, let me ask you about the iPhone and the Zune, if I may. The Zune was getting some traction, and Steve Jobs goes to Macworld, and he pulls out this iPhone. What was your first reaction when you saw that?
$500 fully subsidized with a plan? I said, that is the most expensive phone in the world, and it doesn't appeal to business customers because it doesn't have a keyboard, which makes it not a very good email machine. Now, it may sell very well.
This is an interesting statement. A lot of people thought, smarter than him, we'd have $60 billion in our account, as in his account. You don't smarter than us. He's 100% correct. They thought their business is actually email, and email require keyboard. That's what we got used to it, right? But what happened, things happened suddenly, then gradually, and iPhone took over because it was not simply an email machine, it was more beyond that. So we need to ask ourselves what business we are in. And if we talk about exponential, go back to the computer because it's the mother of all exponential. The first computer started with Microsoft and IBM machine, then it's becoming a small on our desk, then becoming a small on our backpack, now it's in our pocket. Now, when these devices become so small and are surrounding us, we call them ambient. And it's fascinating because the moment that new form factor comes, it changed the entire world. And today we are in a digital transformation and the era of data evolutions. So what will happen? As Henrik said, will these companies be actually the new business? I think we need to think again. Looked around, Sweden already have these implant chips in their hand, and actually they start paying the real cost using these implants. So imagine if you have your phone and the battery went out and you don't have a pocket because of this new technologies, right? So it's not only a technologies, it's something else with the technology that we need to think about. Since I am a statistician by experience, I have to do surveys and ask a lot of questions. What really did transform or digital transformation? Of course, not us as a technical people, it's COVID, right? And when you talk about digital transformation, there was a survey conducted in San Francisco on over than 300 companies. And there was a consistent answer from all these companies in San Francisco. What they did is digital twinning. So what is the digital twin? Simply, when you are able to digitalize the presence of people, property, and process. Once you're able to do or figure out this, it's going to be very easy to use all these exponential technologies. And we've seen many companies, they did, and they were succeeded in terms of digital twins. Right? An interesting company who did a little bit beyond than that. They start doing digital twins and selling performance. What is performance? This is a company that invented a new habit. So when you go, you ride your bicycle, if you get hit by a car, there is 90% trauma. With this, it inflates in less than 1/10 of a second. And with this, the head trauma from 90 to less than 2%. That's the selling. We might not use it now because we are lean. Disruption. Not only in private sectors. We start seeing government doing this digital twins. We can see in South Korea, Estonia, and the UAE, they are running this digital twins of their services. This is interesting. So when we talk about digital twins and adoption, and green color is the users who start using or spending a lot of hours using digital medias. And you will notice that start in 2012. But what in 2012? Think. What actually it was 2010. All these digital or social cam. But what happened is the adoption. That's what happened. Again, same graph, the exponential curve. It was not a surprise. It took time, then. And if we think, as Hendrik does actually today, is exactly the same curve. Google and these companies, they are not the new business. Let's look at the new business that most of us don't know yet. It's powered by blockchain. What is the impact of this in a couple of years? I urge you to actually look at these companies. Very interesting job being done by these companies. So what is the data implication, the innovation in our business? Again, fact. We see a lot of cost reductions in LEDs and batteries and technologies and devices. And what does that mean? The production cost or the production cost of a unit of our services is being exponentially reducing. Ease of entry to any new business or competitive becoming very easy, like Uberizations. The automation is in the rise thanks to AI and robotics. The distribution cost, it's reducing because of the lower cost of the energies. And what does that mean? Simply, if you consolidate that, this is the oversupply and consolidation. What does that mean? We're not going to have as many bank, retailer, government employees, etc., and going forwards. But what is the impact? Let me take you through this interesting case scenarios, trying to apply all these into this. The 3D printing, it used to cost around $3,000 when it came a couple of years back. It's now between $100 to $500. Hopefully, we're going to have it in our house, similar to have the piece in our house. But what is the implication of that? You don't need to go to stationery. You will not have retailers. You can print your cup, your stationeries while you are at home. And you can print it from anywhere. So if you even buy somewhere in Sweden, you can print it in UAE in 5 minutes. We went beyond that. 4D right now, which is flexible materials that you can wear. Now 3D also becoming really advanced in terms of technology, so exponential curves of that. You can do your house, even a house, actually it's a building. It used to take 250 days, now it's take only working days with 3 workers. This is amazing and fascinating. But what is the impact? Did we really put this scenario? Interesting article by Frank Diana in 2015 said, diseases and change, it's going to happen, but when it's going to happen? We knew it, but we were not ready. And COVID exactly came, but we were ready? No, not yet. And COVID changed a lot of habit when it comes especially to health and food safeties. What is the impact of 3Ds and food safety, right, or COVID? We have the 3D printing machines in food. What is the implication on the restaurant and the food business? A huge implication. Today it costs $4,000. I'll be the first one to buy this when it becomes $100 to $500. I'll be the first one to buy this interesting. An interesting project called You Only Look Once, YOLO. As a human, can't really do this image recognitions. I can't really calculate number of, or no number of people right now in this room immediately. Interesting technologies. I thought are away from image recognition. So this is, I think ladies are better aware of this brand. I put my picture and they told me I'm 52 years old, still is wrong. And this is the advices that I need to do in order to look younger. Imagine the implication on pharmaceuticals industries, on medicines, on health and others. And interesting when it comes to industries, image recognition is becoming at the hand of every. So when I said ease of entry, it actually is available today. So managing your stock or asset management. Not only that, today we take a satellite image of Earth every single day. There is a company called The Planet. They take a picture of Earth, a full picture of Earth every single day because they have more than 300 satellites in orbit. With the satellite and image recognitions and all these AI technologies, you can actually now count number of trees and the type of trees that you have. Not only that, go to cattle. I know that I have this number with a single satellite image, which is becoming open data, or it's actually open data. So it's available for everyone to take these satellite images. I can manage my agriculture today using that. I can even harvest whatever I have. I don't need people to do this for me. Image recognition is becoming so advanced. I can trace all the containers, again, open data. I know all the containers around the world today and what actually they contain. These are available today. We work on such a project with the United Nations. But what happens if I combine all in this together? Using the power of the 3.0 web application powered by blockchain. This is what's going to happen. If you want to know if the food on your table is being shipped from one country to your country is in 3 days or 10 days. That's interesting and that's powerful. So we think QR code is simply to scan and know information. Actually, I can trace my food and I know if this fish is fresh, it's been there or shipped the last 3 days, actually, or it's been shipped 10 days or even 1 year. So imagine the implication of the industries when we have this across every single items or commodities on the supermarkets. The details, we need to see these weak signals. And we can't find them out from the first application. We need to look at the second, third, sometimes fourth level of applications. That's what, and that's what's really important for us if you want to really know what are the weak signals. Let me take you through a simple example to look at the fourth application of a simple things, which is today's remote works. Reduce the cost of offices, becoming smaller. The IT infrastructure is becoming. Why? Because we are having more things on a cloud, on the surface. But what is the implication of that? We have more cybersecurity risk, right? But what if we have higher cybersecurity risk? We have higher cyber criminal. But what's cyber really like? They love to do transaction in cryptocurrencies. So what is the implication of the fourth level of implication of remote works? So I suggest that everyone go and buy Bitcoins to hedge them later on for a future business. We don't know. Or a lot of bright data scientists. So to simplify and close, if we try to do this extensively on every single thing that we do, which is scenario building for the fourth level of application, it looks like this. It's going to give us a data disruption map, where data have implication in our business model and where it's exactly we need to look around us and what are the weak signals in every single business that we do today. With that, I'll end up my presentation. And if we really want to change, this is exactly what Fosbury did. He unlearned, but he took in hand to create his own future by really changing the game of Olympic that no one beats him so far. And that's becoming the technique that we learn today. Thank you very much.